This is from Liam, and I think I'm the only strength coach in the world that would get a question like this. My uncle passed away earlier this year. My father and I attended the funeral in Ireland. Religion is strong in the community with everyone but my father for quite understandable reasons, and I apologize for this. Having been educated and abused by Catholic clergy, this has turned him into not just an atheist, but an anti-atheist. Yeah, there's other terms for that, but wearing shirts scorning sacred scripture. He was the only one not to kneel and pray with my family and community in the church. And no, he didn't wear the anti-theist shirt to the service. He believes that my uncle's he believes that my uncle's life ended with his death. And if he had a soul, there is no heaven, hell, or afterlife for it to go. My father lives a good life and noble life, and he has worked to raise a family. Yet these beliefs, or lack thereof, bother me. I'd appreciate a wise man's thoughts on this matter. And well, that's a tough one. It is. I think people are allowed to have pain, and I think people are allowed to look back on rough experiences and say, this ruined me. But I also think it's our job to stand up one day and say, that was then. And this is a hard one. This isn't this, well, it is a concept of strength here, but one of the most releasing things you can do, and I think we got this from what happened in South Africa after apartheid ended. It was such a great lesson for me. They had this committee where basically people would go and say, in prison, I murdered the following 35 people, and here are their names, and the family members would be in the audience. I killed your child, I killed your child, I killed your child. And there was no repercussion for it. It was just to clear the air. And then a few weeks ago, this young man, this police officer in the United States, went into the wrong apartment and shot the person who was rightfully in their apartment. Well, when they were sentencing, the brother of the dead said, "Do you mind if I hug you?" And he walked over and he hugged his brother's killer. And I thought to myself, we always talk about this thing called forgiveness. Nobody does it. No, nobody does it. But when you watch it in real time and you watch someone forgiving, it was so powerful and so unusual. It really was an eye-opener for me. You might not be able to change your father's thoughts, and because that's just the way of the world. But you can learn the lesson from your father, and you said a good and noble man, to forgive in your life. And everybody has bad things happen to them. Poor coaching, poor teaching. Someone else's driving skills might have put you in the hospital. But maybe in this case, you can learn the lesson of the power of forgiveness. When I'm around with elite athletes sometimes, and all they talk about is 1974, and they can't move beyond, they can't move their needle ahead, and they're stuck in this place where President Nixon just resigned, which is a good idea rather being impeached. And there's OPEC gas prices are through the roof, and American cars are terrible. And why do you want to live in the past? Why do you want to live then? I don't know how I can help your father, but I think I can help you to understand the great insights and power of forgiveness. And as the young lady says in the movie, let it go. Now, everybody who knows me also knows that my motto is never let go. So I'm sort of speaking, as we say in America, out my ass, because I don't do these things, but I know that it's crippling me in many ways. So use your father and love your father and appreciate your father, and but also learn the lesson of forgiveness.